What's up guys, my name's Tyler. Welcome to another edition of the Lawn Review. Today we got our hands on the Sunjoe SPX 3000. This is one of the best selling electric pressure washers on the market. Today we're going to talk about some of the key features to this tool, put some of the manufacturer claims to the test, talk about some things we like most about this pressure washer, maybe some things they perhaps missed the mark on, and hopefully help you determine if this is the right tool for you. Stick around and let's check it out. Guys, if you're already a subscriber, again, thank you so much. We're learning a lot from you guys in the comment section, pointing out things that we might have missed or glossed over that you want to learn a little bit more about. So we really appreciate that. Same thing with this video. If we missed anything, just throw it in that comment section as well. But if you're not already a subscriber and you want to learn a little bit more about lawn care, plant care, and obviously the right tools for the job, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We'd really appreciate it. So some of the key features we're going to be talking about today with this Sunjoe SPX 3000 are obviously the most important things to a pressure washer, like PSI or GPM, but we're also going to talk about like user experience. How does it feel to use this product? We're also going to talk about the warranty associated with this, and then finally cost as well. Alright guys, so first and foremost, this Sunjoe SPX 3000 boasts a max PSI of 2030 and a GPM of 1.76. Now what do those metrics even mean? Well, PSI is a measure of pressure per square inch and GPM is a measure of gallons per minute. PSI you can think of as like the stripping power of a pressure washer, how effectively it can clean a surface and really lift up that dirt or grime or whatever that's caked on a surface that you're trying to clean. And gallons per minute is like how much water is moving through this pressure washer. So that's like its pushing power. So you got stripping power and pushing power. You really want a pressure washer that's high on both those metrics. Now, a lot of the times they work inversely of each other. So the higher a PSI, usually the lower gallons per minute, and vice versa. The higher the gallons per minute, the lower the PSI. But if you really want an effective pressure washer, you got to have it high on both. Now, a cool way to measure two pressure washers head to head is called a cleaning unit, which is you take the gallons per minute and the pressure per square inch and you multiply those numbers, and that's going to give you your cleaning units. You can so you're basically weighting the measurement of both the exact same. So it's just a multiplication of the two numbers. So that will really help you determine which pressure washer will clean more effectively and push that water out the best. Now, obviously, we're going to put Sunjoe's claims to the test a little bit later on in this video, but that's what they're marketing this as. So, 2030 PSI and 1.7 gallons per minute. Stick around, we'll find out if that's true. All right, guys, so now that we've talked about the PSI and GPMs of this Sunjoe SPX 3000, let's talk about the user experience. Honestly, I've seen a lot of negative reviews on Amazon about the overall construction of this tool, that it's plastic and feels cheaply made. I didn't really get that vibe. I've tested this quite a bit before putting out this review. It doesn't feel cheaply made to me. It feels pretty snug. So in terms of user experience and getting this thing fired up, basically you connect your garden hose just like you would any other pressure washer. Here at the front base is where you connect on this particular model. And then obviously it's an electric pressure washer, so make sure you've got it connected to a power source. And then you just flip on the motor and it's ready to rock and roll. So once you get this pressure washer up and running and turned on, it comes with two different cleaning detergent containers, which I think the thought there is that one would be like a bleach container and one would be like an all-purpose cleaner. And then you just turn this nozzle, to this side if you want to use this container, and this side if you want to use this container. And then in the middle right here, there's a little arrow You can't see it because of the shadow, but yeah, there's an arrow pointing where on this particular dial that you want the tool to be pulling from, but obviously right in the middle is neither one. And this pressure washer comes with 5 different cleaning tips, ranging from 0 degrees spread, which is going to be like your most powerful, all the way down to your soap. This is what you would use if you were using those 2 soap containers in the front. And then this is going to be your least powerful, or 40-degree nozzle tip. So I think it's like high, normal, regular, low, or something like that. But obviously, there's 5 different options you can use. This electric pressure washer weighs 31 pounds, making storage and movement a breeze. All right, guys, so one of my favorite things about this pressure washer in terms of the user experience is the noise. If you've ever used a gas pressure washer, I think they are the loudest tool known to man. I mean, try carrying on a conversation with a gas electric pressure washer. It's next to impossible. This thing puts out about 96 decibels, which is just a little bit louder than your average electric blower, but it's pretty quiet. Yeah, you can easily carry on a conversation like this, but my favorite part is that when you stop pulling the trigger, this is equipped with a TSS technology, which means total system stop. Now that does 3 things in my opinion. That saves on electricity, that extends the life of the pump itself, and then it also enables you to have a conversation with somebody. If your wife or kids or husband comes up on you while you're in the middle of a job, you don't have to turn the entire system off. All you have to do is stop pulling the trigger. Awesome. All right, guys, so now that we've talked about the power and the user experience of this pressure washer, let's talk about the warranty. Sunjoe stands behind this product for 2 years. So it's a full 2-year warranty. Anything that happens within the first 2 years of using this, then it's covered. Now that's something I really don't like about this, because most people are using a pressure washer maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Maybe some people doing it more if you're using this, as a job, or you've got a lot of mildew issues, but I think like 2 to 5 times of using this before your warranty's up is like way too short. And finally, price. Guys, it depends on where you're gonna buy this, but typically what makes this pressure washer so awesome is that you can get this thing for under $200 easy. Whether it's on Amazon or some other retailer, you're typically gonna spend about 175 bucks for this product, which is an absolute steal for a pressure washer in my mind. Most gas models, or even the higher end electric pressure washers, are gonna run you anywhere from like 400 to 500 bucks. This is less than 200, so it's an absolute steal price point wise, in my opinion. All right, guys, so now that we've talked about some of the key features of this pressure washer, now we're gonna put some of Sunjoe's claims to the test, specifically the PSI and the gallons per minute. First, we're gonna do the gallons per minute. They're claiming 1.76. We're gonna put it to the test and see what it's really doing. So I'm gonna use this 5-gallon bucket as a test. I'm going to count how long it takes it to fill up this 5-gallon tank, take 5 gallons divided by the time it takes to fill this up, and then multiply it by 60, and that should give me the gallons per minute. And Sunjoe makes their claim based on the nozzle tip being wide open, so that's how I'm gonna test this. All right, guys, so the Sunjoe pressure washer filled up this 5-gallon bucket without a nozzle tip in about 2 minutes and 54 seconds. That equates to about 1.72 GPM, so pretty close to advertised. Yeah, and honestly, I have no clue how they got to 2030 PSI. I was barely getting over 1,000 PSI. Not really sure what they did to get 2030 PSI. All right, guys, so now that we've talked about the product features and put some of Sunjoe's claims to the test, let's talk about the things that we think that Sunjoe did really well here and some of the things that they perhaps missed the mark on. What I really like about this pressure washer is that it's incredibly light. Again, it's 31 pounds, very easy to maneuver from a weight perspective. Very easy to use. I mean, you turn it on with a switch right here. No dealing with like gas or anything like that, or priming, or cold starting. It's just as simple as turning it on if you've got a power source. And then the price. I mean, it's very hard to beat. 175 bucks for a very capable pressure washer in the right application. So those are the main things for me: weight, intuitive, really easy to use, and then the price. So talking about some of the things that Sunjoe may have missed the mark on here. I've seen a lot of comments about bad fittings, dealing with the plastic fittings, and they'll crack over time. If you leave them out in the sun or use them quite a bit, some of these fittings around here will crack. Obviously, the PSI being considerably less than advertised is definitely a downfall in my opinion. This is advertised as a pressure washer that can really pressure wash a driveway. Would not recommend using this to pressure wash a driveway. You'd be there forever. But for certain applications around the house, cleaning off decks, patios, things like that, perfect pressure washer for that. Another part where they miss the mark, there's not a whole lot they can do about this because it is a corded pressure washer, but I had the hardest time with these cords. Both the power source cord and the cord for the wand and the cord for the garden hose just constantly got tangled. And so I'd always have to disconnect and move these cords around so it wasn't a tangled mess. So that's a miss in my opinion. All right guys, so what is the TLR recommendation on this one? Do not get this pressure washer if you're planning on pressure washing your entire driveway with it. I would go ahead and rent one from like Home Depot if you don't want to go buy one. But that's gonna be a real pain in the butt to pressure wash your entire driveway with it. Awesome pressure washer for like your car or siding or garage or patio furniture, things like that. Perfect. 31 pounds, really easy to maneuver and incredibly cheap. So if you got a small piece of property and not too much aggregate or concrete to deal with, perfect pressure washer for you. But it really depends on the type of job that you've got ahead of you. So it's honestly kind of a personal preference here. Guys, thanks so much for checking out this week's video. Again, if you're not a subscriber and you want to learn a little bit more about lawn care, plant care, and the right tools for the job, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. But as always, make sure you're checking out the lawnreview.com. With this specific pressure washer, I think we've got like 3 or 4 written posts talking directly about the Sunjoe SPX 3000, comparing it to other Sunjoe products, comparing it to other pressure washers, a full written review about it specifically. So make sure you check out the website too. We'll put a link in the description to make it easy for you. But also check us out on the various social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, LinkedIn, we're on it. Check us out there as well. But until next time, keep cutting. We'll see y'all again.